The New York Rangers head coach Peter Laviolette decided to healthy scratch Matt Rempe for the second game so far out of the 3 games the New York Rangers have played so far this season, and this third game at home at MSG against the Detroit Red Wings. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at Matt Rempe, kind of talk about why maybe he has been healthy scratch for the second game out of 3 so far to start this season, as well as talk about the fourth line as well, because it has been a pretty good line so far for the New York Rangers to kind of take a look at the ice time, take a look at Johnny Brodzinski, who has been the guy who has been kind of in the spot of Matt Rempe on that fourth line right wing spot as well. So let's get right into it here, starting off with the Matt Rempe talk here. And like I said, he has been a healthy scratch 2 of the 3 games so far. He played 1 of the 2 games at home there at MSG. And this is a guy who, especially at MSG, there can be a guy who, with his hits and when he's just really doing anything out there on the ice, when he's just getting around up there, he can get the crowd pumped up and get them in the game and stuff like that, which is great and all. But at moments, he definitely can be, just not the best NHL level player. I mean, sometimes he definitely just doesn't make the right play or just is in the right area, maybe possibly, where a guy like Johnny Brodzinski, for example, can maybe provide a bit better of an overall kind of just player for an all-around kind of better just two-way forward on this team offensively and defensively. Right now, he's just kind of a more refined player, as where Matt Rempe is still a very kind of raw prospect. Obviously, it does seem like he maybe really worked on his game in the offseason, but is he fully ready to be a full-time kind of fourth-line NHLer? It seems like maybe Peter Laviolette does not quite seem to think that, especially with a guy like Brodzinski, who maybe, like I said, can be a bit better of an all-around kind of player for this team right now. Or Matt Rempe maybe more in the future, maybe more towards next season will be more of that kind of full-time fourth-liner. But by no means am I saying that I see Matt Rempe getting sent down tomorrow and then he's down in Hartford for the rest of the season. I'm kind of saying that I don't think we're going to see Matt Rempe probably play 70, maybe 65 plus games even. It might be a little lower than that even. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there long term with Matt Rempe for the rest of the season there. But I do see him being a long term piece on this Rangers team. I don't see him being sent down obviously, but I do think this is a guy who can provide a pretty good impact on this team with the way he can, pump up the crowd there, especially at home. He obviously provides a real toughness factor to this team, a real grit and just kind of fear factor to this team that we definitely could use. I mean, having a guy like Rempe out there, the fear that he can put into their team there, the physicality that he brings with the hits and the fighting ability is definitely great. And at moments, he has a nice play here and there where he makes a nice pass or he scores a nice goal, whether it is by accident, not just standing in front of the net or screening a guy as well. So I like Matt Rempe a lot as a player. I think he can make a pretty good impact on this team long term as well, because you got to remember, this is still a very young player as well. And for a guy who is as tall as he is, most of the time, these kind of tall NHLers sometimes take a bit longer to develop and really kind of refine all their, their whole entire game. So this is a guy who, may not really reach his potential till, 2, 3, 4 years down the road possibly. And he's never going to be, a true top 6 kind of guy in my opinion, but can he be a very solid fourth line guy long term in the NHL for years and years to come while being that very tough player, but being a little bit, a solid offensive guy at moments, offensively and defensively in a fourth line role? I think he can definitely do that. So I'm excited to see what he can do going forward, but it's going to be interesting to kind of see what Peter Laviolette, the Rangers head coach, does decide to do with Matt Rempe, as he is a guy who doesn't seem to be a kind of full-time, 70-plus game NHLer in Peter Laviolette's eyes, with Johnny Brodzinski obviously playing 2 of the 3 games so far. That's kind of how I'm guessing I see it so far, but I could be wrong. Maybe he does end up playing a way more than I think, but I really don't see Matt Rempe playing, 65 plus games this season. I'd imagine it's definitely gonna be less than that. We'll have to wait and see what happens there, but I definitely, like I said, don't really see him getting sent down either. I think he's going to be a pretty solid player on this team for the rest of the season there in a limited role, though, in my opinion. Also taking a look, though, at Matt Rempe and his kind of stat line here. He is, a guy who had a pretty all right game there. Obviously didn't have much of a sample size in game 2 there against the Utah Hockey Club, but he ended up having a total of 7 shifts there, had 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I mean, he did not play much at all there, ended up taking 1 face-off. He lost that, had 3 hits there. So in his very limited sample size, I mean, he's played a total of 3 minutes and 40 seconds so far this season for 7 shifts there. He has not played a lot. So I think in that limited sample size, he did fine there. I mean, 3 hits and 3 minutes 40 seconds there is not too bad at all. So I think in that limited sample size, he did fine there. He did his job, which is to lay the body, play physical, and just not be a liability. And that's kind of what he did. So I think overall there, it is what it is there. He wasn't a -1. He ended up being plus minus was 0. So not too bad there. He's an all right player. He's not a great, obviously, guy, but he's not too bad there in a fourth line role. And hopefully we do see more of him very soon. Taking a look now, though, at more of a guy like Johnny Brodzinski, who has been kind of his replacement or kind of in his spot on that fourth line right wing spot alongside Sam Carrick and obviously Adam Edstrom, the other massive guy just like Matt Rempe. So now taking a look at what Johnny Brodzinski did in his 2 games so far, he has 1 assist there, which he got in that first game, then a 6-0 win against Pittsburgh Penguins in the season opener. He had an assist there, was a +1, had a block shot there. I thought played pretty solid there, had, a total of 16 shifts there, 9 minutes and 52 seconds on ice, had a face-off win there, no face-off losses. So in that sample size there, just in 10 minutes, played pretty solid there, had a point there in that 6-0 win. So I thought he played pretty solid in game 1 there. And in the third game against the Detroit Red Wings there, but his second game of the season, he ended up having no points in the 4-1 win, but had a shot on net there. Did have a penalty, but had a bit less ice time there, only having 8 minutes and 11 seconds on the night there for 13 shifts. So once again, not too bad there. Went 1 for 2 on the face-off, so decent. Overall, a decent performance there. Obviously, didn't get a point or anything, but for a fourth line guy, having a 1 point in 2 games is not too bad at all. He hasn't played even 20 minutes yet so far this season. He's already got a point. So in general, I think he's done pretty solid so far. And like I said, right now, I think Johnny Brodzinski is definitely a guy who can provide a better impact for this team offensively and defensively, and will probably be a bit less of a liability, and will probably make less mistakes and less bigger mistakes than a guy like Matt Rempe will, being a younger guy, less experienced guy at the pro level. But, long-term wise, I do see Matt Rempe probably being a pretty solid fourth liner for this team. And like I said, we're going to see Matt Rempe a lot more as well, which is going to be a ton of fun. I mean, him alongside Adam Edstrom out there, those 2 guys, both like the 6'7", 6'8" kind of range there, something around there. And we have seen kind of Matt Rempe, he's him listed at like 6'9" there as well. So apparently he's growing. He's getting bigger possibly. I mean, he's an absolute monster out there on the ice alongside Adam Edstrom. Right now in the AHL, the Rangers have Dylan Rubrek, who's a 6'7" forward. He can play, wing and center. So the Rangers can have a fourth line eventually at some point this season even, or probably more likely next season potentially, of guys who were 6'7" or above. So that would be pretty crazy there, having a whole line like that. But in general, Edstrom and Rempe are going to be a ton of fun to watch. So Edstrom, I think, has played pretty solid as well. And Sam Carrick, I think, has done a great job in that fourth line role so far, being a pretty solid kind of defensive, more grittier, tougher kind of fourth line center. I think he's done a great job in that role as well. He's been playing pretty physical there. So I think overall, the fourth line's done a great job there, and Matt Rempe is definitely a pretty solid player, and hopefully we do see a lot more of him very soon as well. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for a ton more New York Rangers content. If you are a New York Rangers fan, then this is the place to be. So definitely hit that like and subscribe button. Helps with the channel a ton. I really appreciate it, and it is free to do as well. And also, don't forget to comment down below your thoughts. I love hearing what you all have to say. I mean, we're all just New York Rangers fans, and I really love hearing what you all have to say. So definitely comment down below your thoughts on Matt Rempe. I mean, do you want to see him playing a lot more? Do you want to see him playing over a guy like Brodzinski? Because, it's interesting kind of debate there on who should be in the lineup there, because Matt Rempe definitely provides a much different kind of play style to someone like a Brodzinski there, who might be a more complete player, but Rempe is going to bring a lot more physicality, a lot more toughness, some energy, some life to the team. So there's that kind of debate there, and you're also going to be able to kind of develop more of a guy like Rempe, who, him constantly being in the lineup there isn't really helping his development as well, more than likely. So hopefully we can see him get a little more consistent time in the coming future as well. But thanks for watching. Definitely hit that like button, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.